A terrible lie of a woman took her child to the other world. Only sincere repentance will help stop the murderous mystical force. This is a channel of true shocking investigations. People who call themselves psychics use clairvoyance to solve the most complicated criminal cases and mysteries. Today's story is about lies that took the lives of a few innocent children. Psychics Jeanne Shulakova and Rubina Tsybulska were approached by Oksana from northern Ukraine. She asked them to save her only daughter from death.
I fear for Marina, my daughter. The fear never lets go of me. I need help really badly.
The unhappy woman has already lost her 15-year-old son, Vladimir.
He drowned. He and his friend went fishing on a boat and never came back.
This is terrible.
The tragedy took place in May, on the river not far from the village where the family lives. The strong wind overturned the boat in which Oksana's son and his friend were.
The eyewitnesses said the boat overturned.
The people tried to save the boys, but they were too late.
One boy swam to help them. He says he was just a little too late. I don't remember the funeral. I don't remember anything. Every time I look at his photo, I want to scream.
The woman still can't understand why her son, who had always been a good swimmer, drowned all of a sudden. Was there anything that could drag him down?
You had a feeling before your son died.
It was as if a sign for you.
The icon fell. When I came home I opened the door and saw the icon lying on the floor behind it. I got really terrified.
Her children were at school. There were no pets in the house. The woman couldn't understand how the icon, hanging in the corner, could end up smashed at the opposite end of the room.
I see an image of you taking your son out of his grave. Did you have any dreams of that before he died?
Yes, I kept seeing the same dream over and over again. I was trying and trying to pull him out, but I couldn't do anything.
I see the spirit of a young man who looks a lot like your son. He says that they didn't understand what they'd done when they got married.
What marriage could it possibly be? Who married whom? And what relation could it have to the boy's death?
He asks me to save his sister. I have a feeling the boy was taken to the other world by some evil force, which is now hunting Oksana's second child.
I fear losing her because if this happens, I'll have nothing to live for.
What is your daughter's name?
Marina.
Where is your daughter now?
She's home.
Let's go to see her. Get in the car.
On their way to Oksana's home, the clairvoyants started having shocking visions.
I see a beautiful young woman, but she has a skull instead of her face. This is the force that's been hunting your children. We asked Oksana to talk to her daughter in private.
You feel you're in danger?
When I stay home alone, I hear somebody's footsteps and a voice calling somebody.
It's a female voice that's calling.
Yes, somebody keeps calling me. Come with me, come with me. I began answering that I won't go, telling it I'm afraid.
But last time, when Marina heard the voice and wanted to say something, she couldn't do it. The girl had a feeling as if invisible hands squeezed her throat, and the next moment, she couldn't breathe.
She started coughing. Then she began suffocating, and then she was taken to hospital.
After the medics returned the girl to her senses, someone's invisible hand pushed her on the hospital stairs. Her mother watched her fall more than 10 steps down.
She broke her pelvis and had bruises and concussions.
Do you know the voice?
No. When I walk to school, I feel as if someone's walking next to me.
Do you hear the steps?
Yes, when I turn that way, I sometimes see a girl. She's tall, but she has no face.
The girl with a skull instead of her face. Marina saw the same spirit from the netherworld as I saw in the mirror. I feel that you've even seen this spirit underwater. It was trying to pull you to the bottom by your leg.
I've begun keeping away from water recently. Something was pulling me down to the bottom.
I feel that your brother is trying to save you. It's like he's warning you about the imminent threat.
2 weeks before the incident, I saw him in a dream. He told me to stay away from water.
What kind of evil force is that? And why does it want to take the lives of Oksana's children?
Now I see a young woman lying dead in the middle of some road. Who could this be?
What is that?
Some noises came from the other room.
Something caused the album to fall. It stores photos of Vladimir, Marina, and Natalia. Natalia is my late niece.
You treated her like she was your daughter, and you were close with her.
Yes, very.
Wait. The reason behind her death was suicide.
Oksana's niece was only 19. Without any explanations, the girl jumped out of the window of the 19th floor apartment in which her relatives lived last winter.
Do you think it may be her who's hunting the family?
The souls of those who killed themselves can be highly aggressive.
I see that before she died, the girl had returned from somewhere.
It was a group trip. A group of activists from her university went to Lviv. She was a third-year student, preparing to become a food industry inspector.
Her behavior got strange.
It's true.
It was as if she began keeping herself aloof, avoiding conversation with everybody.
Yes, she clammed up.
The day before her death, Natalia, who'd always been sociable and easygoing, locked herself in her hotel room in Lviv. She wouldn't open the door or answer phone calls and texts. Her friends became worried and phoned her parents.
My brother went to Lviv to take her home.
The parents brought their daughter from Lviv to Kiev at a late hour and stayed at their relatives to spend the night. They were planning to go home to eastern Ukraine the next morning, but the tragedy happened at night.
The mirror is showing me the night of Natalia's death. I see her and some woman. The woman is related to her. They were sleeping in the same room.
She shared the room with Irina. It's their relative from Kiev.
I hear a female voice. It's like somebody was calling Natalia from the other world.
At 4 a.m, she sat up suddenly and threw the blanket on Irina. It took Irina a while to free herself from under the blanket. She asked Natalia where she was going, but she only said, "1 moment." Before Irina had a chance to get up, she jumped out.
The skull-faced spirit made your niece do this awful thing.
Oh my God.
But what was next is hard to believe. When the parents rushed outside to their daughter, the perfectly functional elevator of the newly built building suddenly stopped working. The people were trapped in the iron box 19 stories above the ground. They spent several hours waiting for help while their child was lying dead on the street.
And after they were freed, they immediately went there. But they couldn't come close. There was a crowd there, and the police arrived.
The whole family is still shocked. Nobody can find any reasonable explanation for what the girl did.
Her blood was clean. They thought somebody put something in her food at the cafe. But no, the second version was that she'd been raped, and it was the reason for her reluctance to speak. But it didn't prove either. She was a virgin.
Look at this. The deaths that happened in the family were all connected with some kind of revenge.
The mirror is showing me the road. There's a vehicle, a truck running along it, and there's you and some other people inside. I see the truck overturn. It crashed.
Have you had an accident?
I have. It was a milk tanker. There were 4 of us, together with my friend, and she died.
Was she the only person who died then?
Yes, she was the only one who died of the 4 of us.
The crash happened almost 13 years ago.
My friend and I were on our way to celebrate Easter with my grandmother. We met our friends, and they picked us up.
Oksana's friend, the milk tanker's driver, decided to give his friends a lift in his truck. On the way there, he lost control of the truck, and it went off the road and into a ditch by the side of the road. Oksana and 2 of the other people ended up slightly injured, but her friend died at the scene. The mother of Tetiana, the late woman, cries every time when she remembers the tragedy.
When I heard the news, and I realized that my child was gone. It hurt so much that I can't even find words to describe it, and I still can't hold back tears. I wouldn't wish it even on the worst enemy.
Before the accident, it seems you and your friend swapped seats.
During a stop, she offered that she would take my seat, and I would take hers, so we swapped.
Do you understand that it was you who was supposed to die instead of her?
I don't know.
So could she be trying to take revenge on you, because she died instead of you? I have a feeling that the deaths of the people Oksana loves are somehow connected with her friend's death. We need to work at the site where your friend died.
Half an hour later, the psychics and Oksana are at the site where, many years ago, the terrible accident happened.
The truck you were in did several turns.
Yes, it turned a few times.
Once, twice.
We all flew out of our seats.
Now I see your friend. I feel you were close as sisters.
Yes. Her mother told us, when I look at you both, you're like two sisters. You can't even live without each other.
Did you blame yourself?
I did. I thought it was my fault. I thought I was guilty. I shouldn't have taken her seat. It was LL in my head. And the pain was unbearable. I was crying all the time.
She says my murderer was never jailed. She blames the driver for her death. Wasn't he punished for the accident?
He was found guilty, but the sentence was suspended.
If I'm not wrong, he got away with a 3-year ban to drive.
They said it was because the road was uneven, and that's it.
The crash didn't happen because of the hole in the road. It was because the driver was drunk.
Drunk, so he's clearly guilty.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Weren't you present at the trial?
No.
Did you give evidence?
Uh-huh. I told of how we rode and how the truck veered sideways.
Looking at Oksana, I realized she was concealing something. But then the mirror showed me the image. It's a woman standing over Tatiana's grave, blaming everyone who was in the truck, especially you.
It must be her mother. She told me it was me to blame. She said, "I'll make you and your children suffer for this."
If the mother told this, it means she could have resorted to magic. It can be what threatens your daughter. We must see Tatiana's mother.
Do you know where she lives?
I do. She lives in Shulakova. I know she hates me. She hates me.
Oksana, it might be the last chance to save your daughter.
I'm not going there.
You have no choice. Do you want your daughter to die?
I know that woman.
So you can go on knowing her and doing nothing.
Okay, let's go.
Soon afterward, the clairvoyants were at the house where the victim's mother lives. She agreed to talk to Zhanna Shulakova and invited her in.
Hello.
Hello.
As a mother myself, I understand how terrible it is for you. It's a nightmare. Losing your child is a great grief.
Everybody told me I had to live on, but I locked in my room and cried, and I'm still crying.
When it happened, did you blame anyone for what happened?
I blame myself because I'd let her go. I let her go.
Calm down, please. Hush.
I see how your friend's mother suffers after her daughter's death.
You won't even wish this pain on your enemy. I also felt it.
The mirror shows that the force that's hunting everything you love isn't a spirit. It's an entity from the netherworld.
What kind of entity is it? Where did it come from? And why is it haunting Oksana's family?
Do you bear a grudge against Oksana?
As long as I live. He was drunk, but they arranged everything so the court didn't acknowledge he'd been drunk. She lied during the investigation. She said she needed to live on in the village among these people.
So she lied in the court, didn't she?
She did lie.
Did Oksana give false evidence? Did she really help the man guilty of her friend's death avoid punishment?
Wait, one of the young men who were in the truck with you is somehow connected with you.
He was my first husband.
It turned out that Oksana's first husband, Mykola, her son's father, was also in the truck when the crash happened.
I married the guy who was with us then. We married in 1992. And Vladimir was born in 1994.
At the trial, did your husband also hide that the driver had been drunk?
Sure he did.
So it turns out that Tatiana's mother cursed both you and him. Then you married. It's a double curse. After Mykola and Oksana married, they combined the curses. As such, they were the couple of which their son's spirit told Zhanna. The entity, the skull-faced girl, appeared the moment the curses were joined. I must inform Zhanna of this.
Zhanna Shulakova was about to leave when she paid attention to the flowers on the table.
Your daughter loved wildflowers, didn't she?
We lived at the edge of the village. She used every opportunity to go to the field and bring a bouquet.
Now, every year, the mother buys 2 bouquets of wild flowers on her daughter's Saint's Day. She takes one bouquet to Tatiana's grave and the other home.
I heard Tatiana's voice. She said, "Flowers, you're going to need them. If you don't mind, can I take a few flowers?"
I don't.
I took the flowers and hurried to Rubina and Oksana. You lied to me. You said you weren't present at the trial.
I was there. They asked me if he'd been drunk, and I said no.
What did you tell her, Mom, after the court? Why did you lie?
I don't remember what I told her, I swear.
That her daughter can't be returned, but you need to live in the village, among those people.
My God.
I admit it's my fault. I shouldn't have said it. Only now I understand it. But back then, what could I understand at 17? Of course, today I would never do it. Never.
You must apologize to that woman. Only if she forgives you, we can expel the entity that emerged as a result of the double curse.
Can you look into her eyes?
At that moment, the door opened and Valentina came out. How will the meeting of 2 women who haven't communicated for over 2 decades go?
Aunt Valentina, I'm so sorry for what happened. I'm sorry for lying in the court. Aunt Valentina...
You thought that since Tatiana was gone, you could do anything, didn't you?
It's all my fault. I'm so sorry.
The woman gives Oksana an intense, silent look in the eyes, but eventually she finds strength to forgive her.
I forgive you.
I love you so much, and I loved you a lot.
Forgiveness is an extremely powerful energy. But we still needed to cast out the entity and destroy it.
For the ritual, we needed something that was connected with Tatiana.
The flowers, they will help us get rid of the curse.
The psychics carry out the ritual of purging from the entity.
Your daughter's life isn't in danger anymore.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Only after she was through the same tragedy as her late friend's mother, Oksana realized how terrible her lies were. How often do people tell lies without thinking about the consequences? If this story impressed you, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. We have many more impressive stories in stock for you.